All right. Well, my name is Daniel McGuire, and I decided to do a little bit of an experiment because of health issues towards the end of 2017. I just turned 40, went to the doctors, and I also had a pretty rough year overall with health issues. I guess I should probably start over and tell you a little bit of background on myself. I'm an entrepreneur, originally from Boston. I now live in California, San Jose, California, with my lovely wife, Julia. And I'm CEO of a high-tech software startup. I basically have gone through 5 business accelerators, starting off in Mass Challenge in Boston, then coming all the way out here, and even going through Singularity University, which was a really amazing program, and met a whole bunch of incredible people. But the roller coaster ride of having a startup. It's been now officially 7 years. We've raised $700,000 over those 7 years. We got into some big companies like Dell. Basically what I was trying to do was help solve income inequality. And the reason or how I was doing that is through pricing. We have 2 granted patents and 2 pending on a new pricing algorithm that basically allows people to self-select what price they'll pay for a product. And the way we do that is by deciding, time. Everyone, obviously time's precious to them. So we basically created a game where you do a micro task like watch an ad, or answer a quick question, or do a survey question, or Google verification, make sure you're not a bot, and then you get a spin on a slot machine, and then you get a variable discount. Could be 5, could be 10, 15% off. You have 60 seconds to decide, do you want to accept that discount, or do you want to try again? Now the idea is you could keep playing this game as many times as you want, and our algorithm behind the scene is the one coming up with the different discounts. So in essence, obviously the more time you put in, the higher probability that you're going to get a big discount. And thus, someone who's pretty rich doesn't want to waste any time, will be willing to pay full price. So anyway, after 7 years of this adventure, a couple of really good success cases, Heels.com, a couple other big e-commerce companies, we just couldn't get to scale. And it looks like we're probably going to end up trying to sell off the IP. So one thing I can tell you is having a startup is horrible, absolutely horrible on your health. And I am demonstration of that. I can tell you I started off 2014, and here's my driver's license. And look at this, 6'3", 185. And in December, I was 240 pounds. So the stress of running a startup and obviously that lifestyle of ups and downs, emotionally, etc., was really hard on me. I'll just name some of the problems that I had when I went in for my 40-year-old checkup. I had high blood pressure. I was already hypertension. If you guys hypertension 1 or 2, I think it was hypertension 2. My cholesterol was above average. I also had some weird problems like, used to not happen in my 30s, but when I walked down the stairs in the morning, my ankles would crack really loudly, which was kind of odd. My Achilles tendon, I was dealing with this, basically inflamed tendon. Every time I tried to go for walks, it would just inflame up and get hurt. I went and saw a specialist who gave me a cortisone shot. That helped for about a month, but then it started to obviously hurt again. We were weighing about doing a surgery, but we wasn't sure about when to do it, etc. On top of that, both my elbows from years of lifting, I was always very health conscious until the startup. So they would hurt, and it basically stopped me from going to the gym because anything I tried to do would just ache my elbows, which would kill me. And then to top it all off, I also had AFib, which I didn't even realize, but they said that, my heart was basically going a little bit out of control every so often. So they were going to watch that. But basically my doctor said, come to Jesus moment. You're not doing well. You put on a ton of weight. I know you had that injury, and I guess I should explain, I actually had a herniated disc. I ruptured my disc. Obviously putting on all of this weight, not being active, not stopping going to the gym. I was picking up my dog out of the shower, and boom, popped my disc. I was bedridden for 2 weeks. I wouldn't, wish this on my worst enemy. And then the recovery, it took me, 6 months just to be able to function and be able to go for walks. So overall, pretty crappy health. So I decided, time to make a change. I'm going to start to eat healthier, because, Domino's Pizza, Taco Bell, and McDonald's, Subway, obviously life of a startup, you just eat what's around and it tastes good. So I am trying not to do that anymore. And the way I basically decided I was going to try to be healthy was, eat fruits and vegetables, right? The average person is supposed to have, basically between 5 to 12 servings. I'm 6'3", 240. I should probably be having 10, 12 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. And I decided I'm just going to start eating fruits and vegetables every day. Well, trying to eat 12 servings of fruit and vegetables every day, I found was very hard. First off, I hate vegetables. So trying to eat kale and spinach and broccoli, it just obviously was too drastic of a change for me, and I absolutely hated it. So eating that much fruit and vegetables just wasn't working for me. So then I said, all right, well, how else can I do this? So I was reading tons of health books, decided I'm going to start juicing. So bought myself a juicer, started doing juicing the vegetables mainly and some fruits. And whoa, let me tell you, talk about a clean out your system. I mean, I was running to the bathroom all the time and couldn't keep anything solid. I mean, it just went right through me. So I guess it was a cleanse. But that is not something that I could obviously do long term. My system, I guess, must be pretty fast as it is. And doing that, couldn't even make it a week. So I said, all right, maybe there's a better way. Obviously, juicing, it's too concentrated. I have to get the fiber. So I decided I'm just going to do smoothies. So I'll just blend them all up so I can get all that fiber. And I actually like the taste a little off with the vegetables, but I throw in bananas and apples. And the taste of that stuff wasn't as bad. The problem, though, is you're making yourself a smoothie. Basically, I'm drinking 4 or 5 of these a day. And at first I could pound through them. But then over time, it slowly got slower and slower. Soon it would be over an hour of just drinking a smoothie. And then be creeping in the time for another smoothie, and it just felt like all I was doing all day long was drinking smoothies. Second off, the time to do juicing or the time to do smoothies, and then putting the stuff in the fridge, and it would go bad after a day, and then it was just a lot of work. And I just was like, there has to be a better way. So I started doing my inventiveness and research, trying to figure out, all right, how can I get my fruit and vegetables in maybe a smaller form? How could I compress it? I was already compressing it with juicing, but there has to be a better way. Did a bunch of research and figured out about dehydration. All right, well, you can suck the water out of it, and that would shrink it, and you can add the water back in. The problem with dehydration, it seems to take a lot of the nutrients out of the fruit and vegetables. Second off, once it's been dehydrated, I guess it's a little bit harder for your body to digest. So if you take dehydrated food, you're supposed to actually put it in really hot water to reconstitute it, to rehydrate it. So I'm trying to think, well, maybe that's not great for my body. But then I stumbled upon freeze drying. Now, freeze drying is a really interesting technique. So what it is they take cryogenically freeze, flash freeze, vegetables as soon as they're, fresh. So as soon as they get picked, they flash frozen. Then they put them in a vacuum chamber and they lower the pressure down so that basically you have something called sublimation, which is when you have ice crystals go from a solid state, an ice crystal, right to a gaseous state. So all the water just comes out. Now, if you look at a flash frozen or freeze dried broccoli, it looks just like broccoli. It's just really light. It has no water in it. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go buy freeze dried food and just eat freeze dried food because, obviously it doesn't have as much water. I can probably pound a lot more of it. Problem is, I don't know if you've tried freeze dried kale, freeze dried broccoli, without a bunch of salt and seasonings and stuff. It is horrible. So I decided, okay, that didn't work. So, well, what if I just, made it into crumbled it up, and then just put it in gel capsules. So, and that's basically where I kind of stumbled into a little magic. And that's basically what I started doing, is taking freeze-dried food, crushing it up, and then putting it in gel capsule form. And the idea was just to get my normal servings of fruit and vegetables every day. And I've been doing this now since January, February, March, April, May, 5 months. Now we're in June. And slowly I've gone from 240 pounds down to 215. So I've been losing a little bit over more than basically about a pound a week, which is pretty healthy. But some weird other things have been happening. My elbow pain has stopped. My Achilles tendon pain has stopped. And I'm actually feeling a lot more energetic. A nice thing too is just naturally by having these pills that I'm taking throughout the day, it's been like filling me, so I'm just not as hungry, which is amazing. So I think that's why I'm having the weight loss, is that I'm just not eating that extra slice of pizza or that extra, amount of food that I would normally have, the extra serving. So I kind of came into an epiphany and said, well, if I'm able to lose weight and be on a really good health kick by doing this, then, other people could do this. But then I said, like, my normal personality kind of go to extreme. I said, well, is it possible just to have food pills? And this is why I'm decided to start this documentary, is I want to take you on the venture with me, is I am for a month just going to live off of my food pills that I've been making. And I've been doing a ton of research on all these different combinations and dialing it in to obviously suppress my appetite just perfect with certain complex carbs, and then giving my energy with certain fruits. And like, I think I got this thing really dialed in, and I really want to take you guys on the venture with me, because this might be a big flop or this might be a huge success. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I can tell you, I had already taken the old tape and measured myself. I'll give you some of the readings where I'm at. So biceps were 16 inches around, belly sitting 45.5 inches, standing the belly was 43.5 inches. My quads are 24 3/8 around.